The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Hart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Hart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud Mayor of Waterloo. As the seasons change, keep in mind we are a four-season city, and I remind you that many wonderful and exciting events are occurring all year round. Later in the show, I will tell you where you can find a treasure trove of activities going on near you in Waterloo. The City of Waterloo has taken the first step in creating a fully integrated bicycle transportation system. The system will eventually connect the entire city and beyond through trail networks, designated bike routes, and bike lanes. The Park Avenue bike-friendly corridor is a little over 0.8 of a mile from South Street to Walnut Street in the heart of downtown Waterloo. To many, the layout and function of the newly reconfigured corridor has created many questions. So don't go away. We'll provide some important answers to your questions. The Park Avenue bike path is just a small part of the Cedar Valley bikeways and is a part of a larger plan to increase bicycle accessibility to all areas of the city, to create a central connection point linking trail systems, designated bike routes, and bike lanes while improving bike safety. All of this is to better meet the needs of a growing number of citizens who choose to rely on biking as a means of transportation and recreation. And to help us understand the Park Avenue corridor changes is Codie Leseman, who has worked to develop this plan for the bike-friendly corridor. So welcome, Codie, to our program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate it. So, Codie, tell us a little bit about your background, and you also work for INRCOG and what you do with them.
Sure. So my degree is in urban and regional studies with an emphasis in spatial analysis and planning.
It was what?
So space and place, maps, charts,
Right.
statistics, that sort of thing. I've worked with INRCOG for almost 4 years, and we work on a wide variety of transportation projects, everything from sidewalks and trails all the way to programming federal funds for multi-million-dollar highway projects.
Right, so it is working with the bus system, trail systems, but all of those together at the same time, right?
Correct.
So how did you get involved in bicycle path planning, though?
So my experience with bicycle planning began in 2009 when I was working up in Duluth, Minnesota for an organization called Fit City Duluth. The mission of that organization was simple: to make the healthy choice the easy choice. And so I worked on the active transportation side of that. I developed a study in 2010 for bicycling in the city of Duluth, and since then the city has incorporated many of the recommendations and moved forward with making some of those connections between neighborhoods, shopping areas, and parks.
And so when we're talking about the Park Avenue bicycle path, is that a unique idea to the city or to the Cedar Valley?
The short answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there are 3 cities now in Iowa, Waterloo, Des Moines, and Cedar Rapids, which all have this type of bike lane, which are called protected bike lanes. What that means is that there's some form of vertical protection between the bike lane and the travel lane. In this case, that protection is the parked vehicles. Mm-hmm. And so It's a relatively new idea. We've only started seeing them in the U.S. for maybe the last 10 years, but it's certainly not unique.
Right. And I would almost, but when we talk about the Cedar Valley and having this opportunity, and if there's only 3 cities in the entire state, that is kind of unique for us. But through your travels throughout the country, you've been able to see this, and we're fortunate enough that we've been able to bring that here. And then we also have what we call a bike-friendly Waterloo program. What is that, and what are some aspects of that program?
Right. So Bike-Friendly Waterloo was led by the city. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's an initiative to make bicycling more welcoming in the city of Waterloo on both the trails and on road. And I think that's the key. There's a website right now, and people can go on the website and find more information on bicycling and bike safety, and as well as some informational videos on Park Avenue specifically.
Right. And so when we hear, now this is a conversation, there's been a little bit of debate every now and then, but I have my thoughts about it. But are bicycle lanes or making it safer for bikers? And just the cohesion between the automobiles and bike as well?
Right. Short answer, yes. The sidewalk is not generally a safe place for bicyclists, mainly due to visibility.
Especially downtown.
Especially downtown. You've got buildings right up to the sidewalk. There's no, frontage or easement there. And so to be more in the center of the roadway where the markings are aligned, that's why you see that shift at many of the intersections, is so bicycles are visible and so traffic is aware and everyone can sort of be more aware of each other.
So it makes you more conscientious that you share the road with, of course, motorcycles and automobiles, but you're sharing the road with bikers as well. So when you have a identified lane that the bike travels in, to me, like I said, I don't have a special urban ergonomics degree like you do, but to me, it seems like a no-brainer. And even if we take a look at the Park Avenue bike lane, this is one thing that I really didn't think about, but there is a travel lane that you can go. So just say, for instance, if you kept the car all the way right to the curb for the parking, and then where would the bike go if they're on that road? You can't drive on the sidewalk, not downtown. So the bike would be, the car would be close to the center lane. The bike would go in between the parked car, and the driving car.
Right.
So if you open up the car door, that's a tough challenge. So by moving it all the way and having it designated closer to the curb, even if you open up the passenger side of the car door, it's still far enough away from the bike. So like I said, I don't have a degree. I do have one in common sense. And that seems like it does. But are our trail systems, are our trails linked to a larger bike trail system?
Yes. So this area has a tremendous wealth of trails. In fact, there are over 100 miles of trails in Waterloo and the surrounding communities. Park Avenue, one of the goals is to connect those and to provide that sort of east-west connection. It actually connects 3 trails, the Highway 218 Trail, South Riverside Trail, and Cedar Valley Lakes Trail, with the potential of adding some sort of on-road connection along Walnut Street to then connect to the Highway 63 Trail, which is under construction, and the Martin Luther King Jr. Drive Trail as well.
And with that, so the whole concept of shared spaces, shared roads, safety, but this is the question I want to ask. Because you're on a bike, does that mean that you don't have to stop for a stop sign or a stoplight?
No. Bicycles operating on the roads are vehicles with all the same rights and responsibilities. In fact, there was one case study out of Chicago, downtown Chicago on Dearborn Street, where they added bike signals, so a specific stoplight for bikes. And what they found is that after installing that, red light compliance improved. Bicycles were stopping at that red light more by over 150%. And so having the lane in place will help. And then there's additional treatments that can help as well.
And so this whole conversation about biking safety, automobile, and how to share the road, where can you find more information from the bike-friendly program to all of these things about bike safety?
I'd recommend that folks who are interested start by looking at the bike-friendly Waterloo website, citywaterloo.com/ or citywaterlooiowa.com/bike-friendly-Waterloo. From there, again, there's links to videos and other information on how to drive, how to park, and how to bike on Park Avenue.
All right, and any closing thoughts for bicyclists? And
there is one point I would like to add, and it's sometimes not discussed in this type of conversation, but the cost of owning an automobile is sometimes overlooked. And so if you account for depreciation and maintenance, the cost to finance and own a modest vehicle, say a 2015 Ford Fiesta, is approximately $600 a month. So how many people really have $600 a month extra to spare? And yet that's primarily how we design our roads.
right.
And so the idea is not just one of transportation, but also of social equity and creating that opportunity where people can then keep some of that money in their pocket. And in my view, that is its own form of economic development.
So for the economic standpoint, and also if you take a look over the course of the next 5 years in about 2021, 22, the largest amount of folks that will be attracted to these communities are millennials. And millennials are choosing bikes as an option. You know, with blue zones to our community, we're choosing bikes as an option for a wide range of ages. So we want to make sure that we get the correct words out there. We want to make sure that people understand bike safety and automobile safety as well. So we thank you so much for the resources that you helped to create. And you can always go back to cityofwaterlooiowa.com. Bike-friendly Waterloo to find out more information. And the Park Avenue section of the bike trail now provides better access to popular venues and events frequented by visitors and recreational bike riders. So be sure to check out www.cityofwaterlooiowa.com/bike-friendly Waterloo for insights into the new street markings and rules of the road for both bikes and automobiles. The site contains 10 video tips that show how collaboration between bicycling and driving can be logical, safe, and healthy. So thank you, Codie, so much for all your work on this project, as well as those at INRCOG who assisted in completing this project. Biking safety and convenience is a part of the city's Blue Zone commitment and commitment to a healthier citizenship. In Waterloo, there resides the largest collection of Haitian art in the country. What is this collection all about? How did it get established? And why is it important? Stay tuned for answers to those questions. For 40 years, the Waterloo Center for the Arts has housed metal sculptures, colorful paintings, beaded banners, and other Haitian art. Lauded as fine and extensive, the Haitian art collection is nationally and internationally recognized. To tell us more on this is Chawne Paige, Center for the Arts Curator. So welcome, Chawne, and thank you for taking time out to join us. I understand that you are now a firmly established family man, so congratulations. It's probably keeping you out of trouble too.
Oh yes, yes. Thank you, Mayor Hart.
Besides being the curator, you are also an artist, so please tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I've been in the Cedar Valley for probably about 20 years now. I came to the Cedar Valley to kind of study art at UNI. Since then, I've kind of gone off and kind of been very active in the kind of design community, but simultaneously have been exhibiting and doing public artwork, as well as exhibiting painting, as well as other art forms throughout the area.
So this isn't just a job. This is your life. You are what you celebrate.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My passion is centered around the arts.
Okay.
Period. You know, it just happens that now I work for an art center whose sole goal is celebrated in not only its collection but exhibiting and kind of connecting the community through its programming.
I'm glad you do what you do and I do what I do. So I will not quit my first or second or third job. So, yeah. But how did you become familiar with the Haitian arts?
You know, I've been with the museum for probably about 15 to 16 years, and so I think I definitely by proxy, by working at the museum, I've had the opportunity to kind of see our collection, kind of passing it through our very kind of gallery corridors, as well as all of the galleries throughout the museum. But when it comes to like my background, as far as an understanding Haitian artwork, I've had to kind of like just study up on it. I mean, some of my schooling involved kind of studying art history, not only in African diasporic communities, but also in the Latin American cultures as well. And so that is a major part of learning when it comes to what's happening in the Caribbean. Haiti being there is one of the things that.
So, but what's interesting, the Center for Arts over 15, 20, 40 years have had different types of collections, but why Haitian art? How did that end up being the feature?
It's not the only thing that the museum features, but just talking about the Haitian collection, it started by a local. I mean, it is not something that just kind of landed in Iowa randomly. This actually came from a doctor, Jerald Ruling, who ended up going down to Haiti on vacation and fell in love with artwork there and thought, oh, hey, I'm going to start buying this work, and brought it back to our community and had the foresight. Back, our collection started in 1977, and at that time, he was like, oh, maybe the museum, Waterloo Recreation and I think it was Waterloo Recreation and Arts at the time, could use this collection as far as in programming for the entire kind of Waterloo community. And since then, it's been growing with support of other community members and donors, but also our relationship on a kind of international stage and our engagement with the Haitian Art Society and their connection to other scholars and other artists. And then the work by the current director and the previous director and myself as far as working directly with artists in Haiti.
And when we talk about an actual collection, what's the extent of the collection and what does the collection comprise of?
Well, it's beaded and sequined banners. I mean, that's probably like one of my favorite parts of the Haitian collection is the Haitian flags, Haitian medals. There's also the paintings, sculpture, and then something that has kind of came online within like the recent decades is the works out of the Grand Rue, which is in Port-au-Prince, downtown Port-au-Prince, in the automotive district. There are artists that have established their own museum because their work that is made out of recycled materials, reclaimed things that aren't made from canvases or aren't metals and stuff like that. I mean, it's just in some cases trash or discarded kind of things that are found around the city. In some cases, the debris from the earthquakes.
Wow. And when we talk about pieces, to be stated that we have the largest Haitian art collection in the United States.
Largest public collection in the world.
In the world. I'm sorry. In the world. but that's a number of pieces, though. Do you know how many approximately? Is it?
Well, kind of to give like just some context. Just and when we were celebrating our 30-year anniversary, we only had 800 pieces. Now we're upwards, 10 years later, upwards of almost 2,000 pieces.
Oh my gosh, okay. And you mentioned earlier about the connection, the doctor going to Haiti to collect the art, but you've also created international linkages as well. We've had people from as far away as Paris, France, and other places around the entire world that have come to the city of Waterloo. So this is something we don't look at it as an economic development boom, but as far as a cultural and artistic expression, this puts Waterloo on the map significantly. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I hope all the citizens can like really kind of come down, not just hear my words and hear this interview, but definitely come down to the museum, sign up for a tour, or at least just come down and actually see the galleries now. Because right now, since we are celebrating our 40-year anniversary of this collection, our whole museum has installed Haitian artwork, kind of floor to ceiling. But when it comes to its international relationship, we just hosted an international conference just earlier in September, and we had people come in from Haiti, from New York, from Chicago, from Minneapolis, from Louisiana, all the way up from Washington, D.C., Massachusetts, Haiti. I mean, these are people that are coming to our community, not just because we invited them to, but because they know about the Waterloo Center for the Arts, and they know about our collection, and it's something that is being published all across the world.
Right.
I mean,
and so in addition to the international community, the national community, and people knowing locally, when we take a look at our young people within our school districts as such, are they being introduced as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we definitely kind of get kind of tours lined up from the Waterloo Community Schools, but also we've been getting a lot of the colleges. Just in the past couple weeks, we've had Cornell bringing several different of their students, a couple of their students down to actually help us research more, and they're going to, one of the things that we do with our collection is we also send our collection out from our community to other galleries, other museums, and it just so happens we're going to be partnering with several schools throughout the state for the Haitian collection to kind of go out.
And a wonderful piece of everything you're doing with the Haitian Arts collection and the beautiful tapestry that you have at the Center for the Arts, not all of it comes from taxpayers' dollars, we'll say that. You have pieces that have been donated from the doctor you mentioned earlier. There is an art society, there are grants, there are a myriad of different resources for you to be able to utilize, for us to be able to have this wonderful collection. It takes partners, I assume.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, most of our collection it comes from acquisition funds that were established by endowments that were established by citizens right here in the community. There aren't, a lot of cases, we don't have a lot of grants to directly go out and buy artwork. And so one of the things is it's about building relationships, relationships with people who love this work and or other communities that, what do I want to say? It's about building those relationships, and the growth of our collection has come from donors. A lot of cases, it's not us buying the artwork. And so when it comes to the museum buying artwork, we actually use our endowment funds that were for acquisition to kind of look at works that kind of help augment our collection and augment the story. It's not that we're just kind of feverishly going out and just buying artwork. It's like, no, most of the collection came in from donors that know about our stewardship of this collection. They know about our ongoing programming centered around our Haitian collection, but also our relationship with all the other collections that we have.
And that is one of the great things about this community, because from the works from across from you, from the Sportsplex to the Gable Museum to the Center for the Arts to all the wonderful collections and everything we have, it comes from people that have a heart for giving to making this community great. So, you know, Chawne, thank you so much for being with us and taking time to provide insight on what makes our collection of Haitian art so important. It belongs to the city and kept for all citizens to view, reflect upon, and appreciate. And what is shown in this collection of varied art forms are the passion, struggles, and humanity of the Haitian people. And once again, this is the largest collection, public collection in the entire world. And it's not housed in Miami, Chicago, New York City. It is here exclusively in Waterloo. So thanks again, Chawne, and I hope our citizens will take the time to visit the continually changing art exhibits that fall under the curating oversight at the Waterloo Center for Arts. There's a lot going on there. In Waterloo, we have many unique places and events that attract people from all over the country and the world. And there is the world-class John Deere manufacturing and assembly facilities. There is our Waterloo Center for Arts with our Haitian arts collection. There are downtown museums that are notable for adults and children, and theaters that are celebrating 100 years of performing arts, a renowned National Cattle Congress, along with the historic Electric Park Ballroom, the heritage of the five Sullivan brothers, all contribute to making Waterloo such a great place to live and visit. And most everyone knows about these places, but did you know we also have a world-renowned manufacturer of a very unique product? So stay tuned, and I think you will find this story eye-opening.
For over a century, the Jerald Sulky Company has produced the world's preeminent horse-drawn performance vehicles with a remarkably simple goal: perfection. Conceived in tradition and perfected with time, our vehicles are handcrafted in the heart of the United States, desired globally, and delivered individually. Their capabilities to deliver vehicles of this quality exist only one place on the planet. Sharing the goal found in the heart of every competitor, the Jerald Sulky Company joins you in combining craftsmanship and performance to deliver without compromise, show after show, race after race, year after year. Like the horsemen everywhere that drive our vehicles first across the line, first out of the lineup, and alone on the victory lap, we practice our craft every day with one goal: to deliver only the best without compromise, always.
For over a century, the Jerald Sulky Company has been building the world's finest performance horse-drawn vehicles, conceived in tradition and perfected with time. These vehicles are American-made, desired globally, and delivered individually by extraordinary craftsmen. It is accurately said the capabilities to produce this product exist in only one place on this planet. And recently I toured the Jerald Sulky Company, and after it had been acquired by new owners. They are dedicated to maintaining the tradition of Samuel Jerald, the originator of this unique enterprise. And I would like to welcome Erik Lee, co-owner, with his wife Shelley, who's not in attendance, but co-owner of the Jerald Sulky Company. So welcome, Erik, to the show and to Waterloo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
Have an interesting background, a couple of different things that I focused on personally. I am professionally a technologist, so have worked for quite a while in various technology organizations.
Okay.
And then my secondary business, some people call it a hobby, I think it's a little bit more than that, particularly when I pay the bills, is the horse business. So
Right.
I have been professional in the horse business now for over 20 years, judge horse shows, have run everything from large public barns to what currently is a buy-sell consign barn for saddlebred and hackney horses.
So technology and horses meet.
It's kind of like candy bars and lettuce. It's a balanced diet for me.
Okay. Yeah, I won't even go with that one. But did you? So obviously, you said about 20 years experience in a wide range of horse programming, etc. But did you grow up with horses though, or show horses growing as a child?
I did, and that's how I got into the horse business. So we had some fun backyard horses, 4-H style horses growing up, and I ended up taking a job real young in the horse business as a result of some connections I gained through that. And when I was 16 years old, the guy I was working for at a large barn, 80 stall full barn, had a heart attack, and I ended up running the barn for between 2 and 3 years until he was back on his feet. And when I came out of that, I was a USCF professional, had a string of customers, pretty decent reputation, and it's just gone from there.
And so when it comes to, you mentioned taking over 16 on someone's stalls, but you probably have one of your own today.
I do.
And do you have horses throughout the country in Waterloo, or where are yours?
So we've got horses in two places right now. We came from northwestern Wisconsin, basically across the border from Minneapolis, St. Paul. We still have that farm. It's for sale as we're working on the migration down here, but there's some horses left back there. And then we have some show horses down here in Waterloo as well that we keep working, keep connection with.
Right, and so you and your wife ended up purchasing this company, but how did that opportunity even come about?
It was really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I mean, it's a family-owned business. It was started by the Jerald family in officially 1898, but they'd been building carts before that.
Okay.
It's been in Waterloo since 1901, and the family ran out, like sometimes it does. And so the company became available on the marketplace. And the actual story is we had a very nice Hackney pony that we needed a cart for. We called down here to buy the cart, and instead we found out the business was available. We bought the company instead, and 2 years later we still haven't made our own cart. We are the cobbler's kids, and someday we'll make that cart, and the story won't be as good, but it is a true story as of today.
It's kind of like, I probably shouldn't do this, but like when my wife goes to Walmart.
You're in such big trouble.
She goes in getting groceries and come out with the entire store.
Something like that, yes.
I'm sorry, but yeah, we may have to edit that. No, I'm just playing. She'll forgive me. but also, what do you manufacture there on Wagner Road?
So exactly as you introduced us, and it is kind of a complicated sentence. We are the last remaining commercial manufacturer of performance horse-drawn vehicles. So what does that mean? There's a lot in there. So last remaining commercial manufacturer. Do we have competition, I suppose, is a question. There are a couple of very small companies, Amish, sort of hand-built hobbyists that may produce a handful of vehicles a year that try to find our suppliers and make vehicles like ours. We are the last commercial production facility of the vehicles that we make on the planet. When I say performance horse-drawn vehicles, that means that really the target use of our vehicles is on the racetrack and in the show ring.
Right.
So if you're using one of our carts, you're out to win money or out to win a ribbon.
Right, and I heard you've been compared to the Maserati or the Rolls-Royce cart.
It's a fair comparison. In particular, if you look at the way these carts are built, the automotive metaphor stands true all the way through. So yes, from a marketplace perspective, the vehicle that we deliver is both a performance and a luxury vehicle, which is why we get the Maserati or Rolls-Royce comparison.
And so this isn't just you saying this or me saying or bragging because I'm mayor. You actually have a myriad of different magazines and things. You want to point up some of them?
Absolutely. I've got some fun history here for you, and I can put some of this up for the camera. There was a stamp which was done of the Jerald Sulky Company.
Wow.
We have been featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I can hand you a couple of these as well if you want to put them up. We've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated 4 separate times with our vehicles.
Wow. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
We have some very interesting consumers of our product, and I won't do any name dropping other than those that publish their picture openly, but you can enjoy that one and then show it to the camera.
Oh my God.
So a good consumer of our stuff is Captain Kirk. As well as a number of other people. That doesn't mean that our vehicles are exclusively for people that can afford them. It's a very affordable product and is generally used by people of all income levels and all deliverance qualities. But this is just a fun example of who's consuming the vehicle, and we do ship them all over the world.
Right. And when you talk about the components that actually make up the carts, where do the components come from?
So from a production standpoint, as a manufacturing company is judged, it is do you significantly change a product inside your plant. From our perspective, we significantly change 80% of the materials inside our plant. So we get in raw wood and it comes out a body of the cart. We get in raw metal and it comes out an axle component. We figure about 10% of the remaining 20% of the parts is sourced here in the Cedar Valley, and the other 10% of the parts we have to go elsewhere to source because we can't find a source for it. So from that perspective, being the last commercial manufacturer, it's not like we get these things as a kit.
Right.
We have to make the parts all the way down to some of the nuts and the bolts and the wheel pieces, and 80% of that is done here in the Cedar Valley, if not 90% of that.
Right, and are you using any vintage equipment to produce anything?
If anybody from OSHA's watching, the answer is no, absolutely not. It's all modernized, great shielding, and all that. We have some interesting tooling, and when you toured the plant, it probably looked familiar to a lot of the other fabrication facilities around town. It's reasonably modern equipment, drill presses and hydraulic presses and welding equipment and things like that. It just happens to be that they're tooled up to manufacture the carts or the parts of carts.
And you mentioned earlier how they're used. They're used for racing, and what was the other?
Showing.
Racing and showing
right.
as well.
So we are the Jerald Sulky company, and Sulky is a kind of vehicle. It's a race vehicle. Comes from the word to sulk, to be alone. It's a one-person vehicle, which was something unique when that was developed.
So when you talk about that, just real quickly, the sizes. So you have one person to, what are the different sizes?
For the most part, they're all one-person carts. We do have a couple of models that accommodate more than one person for pleasure driving, but the majority of our vehicles are for competition, and most of the time when you're in competition, it's a one-person sport.
Wow, wow. And do you provide carts for dog shows where pulling
Apparently,
yeah, I went there.
Before my time, you went there. We did try the dog cart phenomena. The problem with dog carts is squirrels, and so we don't do that anymore.
Right, okay.
Yeah, the dogs aren't as controllable as a horse.
It kind of makes sense.
Right.
Well, the day I walked in, I was absolutely blown away by what's taking place, and people really need to understand the jewel that they have here locally in your company as well. So I want to thank you personally. I want to thank you for the city of Waterloo, for this nation and this world, for what you do to help in your capacity. So thank you so much for your investment in Waterloo and for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
All right. And once again, thank you, Erik, for coming and telling us about this extraordinary business, one which, as you have said, is here to stay. And I visited and toured this factory, as I mentioned, and I can say with certainty the Jerald Sulky Company is an unsung hero locally in Waterloo. And I am very impressed by the craftsmanship, the professionalism, and the creativity that has been incorporated into the custom building of world-class carriages. And so we thank you, Erik and Shelley, for all that you've done to carry on the tradition of this world-class company here in Waterloo. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this message. Looking for something to do? There's so much going on indoors and outdoors in Waterloo. For entertainment, shopping, eating, and more, go to travelwaterloo.com for complete listings of many exciting activities, places, and venues. You can also find much of this information on the City of Waterloo website, cityofwaterlooiowa.com, under the Visitors tab. Well, that's our show, and we welcome your suggestions and feedback. Remember to tell others that these episodes are available for viewing from the City of Waterloo website, and that's cityofwaterlooiowa.com, and you will find it in the section that contains past city meetings. Please join us next time, and thanks for watching Hart for the City. And until then, I think you will agree, it's a great day to be in Waterloo.